To his top gun, Larry Perkins has a remarkable record in endurance racing, and in particular at Bathurst. Larry's unique amongst the front-running drivers. He not only pilots the Castrol Commodore, but he's a qualified engineer. He's responsible for his car building, engine and chassis development. On raw talent alone, he made it to the very top, reaching Formula One. He's a real crowd favourite with a battler's reputation, and this year, together with co-pilot Greg Hansford, he starts as a fancied favourite.
Over the years, you've been very, very successful at Bathurst. Is there any one particular thing that you attribute to your success up there?
I believe that because we pay so much attention to detail, especially the mechanical spec, that it has paid off. And a lot of us don't know that you actually have to finish Bathurst to be up on the podium. And you know, it's caught us out a couple of times, I might add too, but you've got to finish, and you've got to drill it into your co-driver and your team around you. Don't do anything rushed, do it carefully, do it well, do it properly. That's all you can do.
Big roar from the crowd as Larry Perkins leads this flying VO field across the hill. Listen to the roar. Larry gets 100 metres on them as they come through. It's Holden, 1, 2, 3, 4, then the first of the Falcons. Look at this. Blistering pace from Perkins. I'll be interested to see his opening lap time.
It'll be quick, but he won't run at that all day. That's just a little psychological break over the field at the moment. He's doing it very, very well. And the two HRT...
Is it a track that you particularly enjoy, or just another bit of black road?
No, I've been fortunate enough to drive on all the tracks in the world, and Bathurst is absolute right up the top. There's none surpasses Bathurst, and if you're in tune with your car, you can do an excellent lap time around Bathurst, and it's so rewarding from the driver point of view to knock off a real good lap time around Bathurst.
Which is the bit of the track that you enjoy most?
I think going into the over Reed Park and you go into McPhillamy Park corner, the left-hander there, if you get that right, you then enter the skyline at the highest speed you can ever get, and if you know you get that at the maximum, you're going to pull a second on anyone straight away. And to get it right, though, you've got to calculate carefully because there is no room for it.
Do you remember your first race at Bathurst?
Yes, I remember it very clearly. 1977 with Captain Peter Jansen, and we had a absolute trouble-free run, and we came third behind the two Falcons. And I then went on to have another 3 years with the captain, and we had, with my 3 starts, I had a third and 2 seconds.
Do you recall any particular dice or result that you've had at Bathurst that stands out in your mind over the last dozen years or so?
Well, I was very happy with my 1984 result. It was the 3rd in a row with the Holden dealer team, and I was employed to be the chief engineer, workshop chief and co-driver, the same role that I do now, except then I didn't own the team. And the second car in that outfit had failed to finish for 6 years straight, and every year I ran in 82, 83 and 84, the second car finished. And in 84 it was a 1-2, so I was very happy with that, because it was hard in those days to get cars across the line mechanically, but I might add, in those days there was really no opposition, not to what we've got today.
Was it frustrating that Larry Perkins was sometimes ignored when you were being swept along in the Peter Brock hysteria?
No, it wasn't frustrating, because I was totally aware that was how it was going to be, and Peter owned the team. But I do clearly remember once, it was in 83 or 84, Peter was driving and we had got a decent lead at the first stint. We'd got up to 15 or 20 seconds ahead of the Dick Johnson car, and I took over the next stint and Dick stayed in the car, and Dick slowly wheeled me in and passed me. But I knew that his co-driver was much, much slower than myself, and so it was nothing to worry. But I remember Peter standing on the fence, waving his fist at me, urging me to go quicker, and I deliberately went slower, and my mechanics at the time knew that. We had a little thing we reckoned, and I always knew I could read the race perfectly, and there wasn't the slightest bit of reason for me to go quick, and I think we won by some number of laps.
You also had the opportunity a couple of times to do the 24-hour race at Le Mans, and you've driven sports cars. Was that enjoyable?
Yes and no. I last drove the Le Mans 24-hour with the Jaguar team in 1988, and we came fourth outright. But I was a bit apprehensive about going to that place for the third time. I believe the odds are getting shorter and shorter, and when I was going down that straightaway for about the 40th, 50th time in the middle of the night, it was light drizzle on slicks. I really sort of thought that maybe my number would be up, and I kept driving, and we finished, and I hopped out and I said to myself, I'm never coming back here again at those speeds.
What sort of speed was that?
Well, we were just nudging 400 kilometres an hour in the dark. The lights were useless, as I say, on slicks, and I did 3 sessions straight there, and because I hadn't crashed at each session, the team thought I was an ace, and they kept me in, but it was terribly difficult driving, but terribly rewarding at the same time.
Any regrets over your career to date?
Well, it's well known that I don't have any trouble saying what I'm thinking, and it certainly probably cost me opportunities at stages of my life. At the same time, I probably have never regretted having my say, because I feel very comfortable with myself.
Larry Perkins, one of the favourites for Bathurst.
Man, machine and team have tried to tame the world's greatest racecourse. A few have failed. Some have won in controversial circumstances, and they've been the happy times. Can Brocky make it 10, or will Sandown winner Dick Johnson and those aboard ruin the party? Watch the great race on 7. You could win this magnificent V8 Commodore SS, the Tooheys 1000. It's the ultimate V8 fight. 2 right, Sunday, October 2.
There's no way this will clean as well.